Electrical panel.
Okay, here we at your navigation panel. The navigation panel that you have here, it's an AC and a DC panel together. The AC part of it is not air conditioned, it's just a battery charger, AC outlets and water heater. So what you have here with the AC panel, your boat is plugged into shore power right now. So you have a AC power light burning to tell you that you have power coming into your boat. You have your battery charger on, water heater off, and AC outlet on. Once your battery charger is on, you should be able to see that your voltage of your batteries is showing you 13.6. That means you're getting a charge. If your battery charger was on and it's showing you 12 or 12.2, it means it's not getting a charge. So now we're showing you your boat is plugged into shore power, battery charger is on, and it's showing you 13.6. That means yes, your batteries are charging. You have a breaker here which is a water heater breaker. You can turn it on when you need hot water. When you don't need hot water, you turn it off. So in that way, you don't burn the element out from your hot water tank. AC outlet would give power to your AC outlets around the boat. So that's for your AC panel here. We do the DC panel. The DC panel, you have a little readout here, a little panel. You have voltage, water and fuel. So we start with voltage. It's on the main battery bank, which is a domestic battery bank, and it's showing you 13.6 volt. If I press it, it will go to my engine battery, and it's showing you 13.7. If I were you, keep it all the time on the main battery bank, because that's the battery bank you're going to be using power from. The engine battery is isolated, so it's only for the engine. Here, I'm going to show you tank 1 and tank 2, and they're both full of water. You have a changeover valve, which we're going to get to in a little bit, so you're going to be using one tank at a time. Fuel, as you can see, your fuel is full. DC main for the main panel here and cabin lights. Also the Wi-Fi get power from this breaker here. So once this breaker is on, or during your trip you can turn it on and leave it on. You have individual breakers or individual switch around to turn lights on and off. Here you have your navigation light. You have sailing or motoring, anchor light, panel light. Also the panel light switch will give power to your 12 volt outlet, like a civet lighter outlet. Deck light, navigation, your display is outside. Fridge, once you turn it on, you leave it on forever. The fridge that you have on board is a 12 volt system. Turn it on, leave it on. If your battery get low, it will shut itself off. Low mean 11.8, 11.9, and the fridge will shut itself off, so you have remaining power in the battery for run the lights and the fan. Once you wake up in the morning, you start your engine up, charge it back up, your batteries are full. Since we are talking about charging battery, religiously you're going to have to run your engine 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening at 1500 RPM to charge your batteries up. Here is an auxiliary, which is a spare breaker, water pump. Your fresh water pump is a self-priming pump. As it primes your system, it shuts itself off. If I were you guys, turn it off when you're not using it. Why? In case there's a leak or someone leave a faucet open, the pump will pump the whole tank and leak it out. Belch pump. Here you have manual override, automatic. If you leave it on automatic, you have an automatic float switch with it. If water comes in, it will automatically pump it out. Once it's running automatic pumping, you will see 2 lights burning. That means it's pumping water out. Put it in the middle, it's completely off. If you have to manually override the float switch by putting it into the on in the left position, you'll pump water out from it. Off. If I were you, always leave it on automatic. If any water comes in, it will pump it out. Okay? So I'm going to leave it on automatic for now. And the pump comes on again. So we'll turn it off in a little bit here, and I'll check what's going on here. So that's your DC panel. Also, you have an inverter on your boat. The inverter, what the inverter does for you, it takes 12 volt make 110 volt so the AC outlets can work. Please do not have the inverter on and your boat is plugged in shore power. You don't need to have both on at the same time. If your boat is plugged into shore power, which means you're going to get AC outlets from shore power. When you're not on shore power, well, then you can turn your inverter on. Whenever you're using the inverter, please make sure your engine is running at 1500 RPM and then turn your inverter on and you'll get power. The voltage here will comes up to 110 and the AC outlets will work. You have one AC outlet right here, lower down from your AC/DC panel, and they have a GFI breaker on it. So if for some reason none of the outlets are not working, you'll see the GFI breaker here trip in the down position. Let me just move this cushion, maybe you might be able to get to see it. Yeah, can you see it? Right here, this is trip and this is on. So this is the GFI, this is your outlet. Also here you have your air condition. Because your boat is plugged into shore power now, so the air condition is on. It's showing me that I have temperature in the boat is 81 and I have it on cool and heat and my fan is on. So I'm just going to show you here. The temperature, you can set it to whatever temperature you need, up or down. The mode that you need to always make sure you set it at is cool and heat. Do not do cool or do not do heat individual. Just make sure you have it cool and heat together. And also this is your fan. This is the power button to turn it off and power button to turn it on back. As you see, it comes on cool and heat. It will program preheat, start itself up and comes on. There you go, it's on. So that's it for your panel here. Okay, here you have your fusion. The fusion that you have here is also Bluetooth. To turn it on, you press the power button. It comes on. It's already on a radio station. So you can use the arrow button to find the page where it says AM, FM, auxiliary, and Bluetooth. Auxiliary is here. You go back. That's the page again for AM, FM, auxiliary, and Bluetooth.
High pressure system over the central Atlantic now is supporting against the moisture lake eastern of the local flow off the dry. Moisture is plentiful though at ground level, and that's
this is a page that you can do settings with, FM, or different pages you want to use. Auxiliary and value. VHF. Once you press the power button here and hold, it will come on. It usually beep on you to tell you need an MMSI number. Whenever you do that, just press the X here to clear it, and it goes to channel 16. Everyone monitor on channel 16, and then they tell you which channel to switch to. You have here, you have the mouthpiece. Press to speak, to listen, you release.
Tortula pilot, tropic palm.
Okay, and you get a little demonstration here. Also, you can change channel. Mostly they will, if you hail anyone up, you hail them up on channel 16, and then they will tell you to switch to channel 6.8 or 7.1. You want to go back to 16, hit 16. Oops, no. I guess I have to go back manually. Okay, that's for your VHF.
Switching the water tanks.
Okay, here you're looking at the water changeover valve. So if you look here, you'll see there's two valves with two blue mark on it. One to the bottom, that's an extra valve. So you only have two valves here because you have two water tanks. As you can see, this blue mark is across, it's off. The other one is in line, it's on. So right now you're using tank number I think the forward tank, which is tank number 2. When that tank empty and you obviously air going to be coming through the faucet, close it off and open the next one. These valves are located under the settee in the saloon area, all the way to the end or to the forward of the settee and under the settee. So again, you can use one tank at a time.
Lighting the stove.
Okay, here we want to show you how to light your stove. The stove that you have is a 2-burner with an oven. It's a propane stove. But before propane can flow to your stove, there's a solenoid switch under the sink and this cupboard here. So first you turn your switch on here. As you turn it on, there's a light burning here to tell you it's in the on position. When you're lighting your burner, you got 2 knobs. Obviously the one to the right is for the right burner, the one to the left is for the left burner, and the far one here is for your oven. Please don't get confused with this burner knob here for this burner. You light the match first, push the burner knob in, hold it on a couple seconds so the thermocouple can stay open and the burner will light. Voila. Here is your burner is working. To turn them off, right here. The oven. To the bottom of the oven you have a plate here that you can pull out so you can see burner. To light it you do the same. Light the match first, push the burner knob in, turn. Hold it in a couple of seconds so the thermocouple can heat up. After the thermocouple heats up, put back the spray in place. And now you can put the turkey inside and you can bake. Then you finish, turn it off, go to your solenoid, which is solenoid switch, which is under the sink, and turn it off. Propane is very heavy. If it leaks, it stays in your boat, and it's also very dangerous. So please make sure that the solenoid switch is in the off position. Okay, here is your salon table. The salon table can also make into a small bed. By doing so, you're gonna have to remove these 2 long legs, replace them with the short leg, and the table will be lower then, and you have your cushions for it. By doing so, 2 persons has to hold. One person hold on this side, the other person hold on the other side, and just manually, physically lift it up. Pull the long legs out, put the short legs them in, table come down, and you put your cushion on, so that you can make it into a bed. When you don't want to make it into a bed, well then you just do the opposite by removing the short legs and put the longer legs back in.
Battery switches and windlass breaker.
Okay, here are your battery switches. The battery switches, they're located in your port aft cabin. In this case you only have 1 port aft cabin. So here you have 2 red one and a black one. The black one is a common ground, like the negative of all the battery. You have your engine battery, which is motor battery here, and your house battery bank, domestic battery bank. The batteries, they're isolated from each other, so you don't have to come here and turn switches off and on. Leave them how it is. This one in the middle here, this is your windlass breaker. If you are bringing your anchor chain up or down and it suddenly stops working in you, it means your breaker tripped. The windlass will not work. You have to come here, reset it, and it will start working again. Please remember, when you're using the windlass, your engine must be running, because the windlass motor tends to draw a lot of power. Also, there's another breaker here. This breaker is for your inverter, which I'm going to label it in a little bit later, so that you know what is this for. But again, this is in the on position, this is off, this is on. But the one that you need to really remember is the windlass breaker, because everyone tends to forget the windlass breaker, and they call me up middle of the night. My windlass is not working and the wind is heavy. So let's trip, let's reset. Okay.
Engine overview.
So here is your engine. We would like you to have a look under your engine every morning before you start your engine up, and see if there's any oil or any water is building up under the engine. If there's no water or oil building up, I mean you're good to go. So if you look in front of your engine here, you have your belt, you have your raw water belt, and your main drive belt for your alternator. Also here you have your oil dipstick. On the side of the engine you have a manual fuel shut off, which we're going to show you as the camera going to move around. Also in front of the engine here you have your fuel filter and you have your air conditioning pump. The air condition pump, what it does, it brings water in, cool the compressor, and throw it out to the side of the boat. So if you plug your boat into shore power and you turn your air conditioner on and you see a steady flow of water coming out on the port side aft, that means that's cooling your air condition. Don't panic and call me up and say, oh, my belch pump been running all night. It's not your belch pump, it's the air condition pump. Okay, so now the camera gonna move to show you how to manually stop your engine. Okay, here we're gonna show you how to manually stop your engine. So if you start your engine up on the panel in the cockpit, and then you're ready to stop your engine, and for some reason your engine don't want to stop on you, you can come here. You'll see there's a red rubber boot under the air filter. As you push it forward to the engine, it will stop fuel going to it. So it's like a fuel shut off. So this is your manual fuel shut off. Also here you can see there's another cable here. That's your throttle cable. If you put your boat in forward and your RPM is not coming up, maybe the cable brake and you are loose, you can come here and push this backwards and you'll get your revolution. But what's important here for you to remember, the manual fuel shut off.
Starting the engine.
Okay, here we want to show you how to start and stop your engine, or start your engine up. Now before you start your engine up, you want to make sure it's in neutral. If the gear shifter here and the red button can go in, that means it's in neutral. If you look here, I'm going to push it a little bit forward. The red button cannot go in, do not start your engine. You want to bring it back to neutral. Once the red button can go in, that's neutral. Now I want to start my engine by press the power button, that's ignition, and I press start. Engine started up. Before you do anything else, you need to look and check for water come through your exhaust. That's your raw water coolant. And with this boat, it will come out on your starboard side. After a day or two, you can hear it, it's like music to your ears. So now my engine is running. I want to charge my batteries up. That way I push the red button in to disengage my transmission, and I can bring the lever backwards or forward, and I bring my RPM up to 1500 RPM to charge the battery. Religiously, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening at 1500 RPM. Now I'm going to bring it back to neutral. The red button going to pop out. Now if I put my boat in forward, it will go forward, and I need more RPM. I push the lever more forward. If I was going forward and someone say back up really fast, please, when you bring it from forward to reverse, you must pause in the middle where it's in neutral, count 1, 2, 3, then shift into reverse. Please do not shift from reverse to forward or forward to reverse. To stop your engine, you press stop, engine stop, and you turn ignition off. Voila.
Navigation instruments.
Okay, here is a B&G chart plotter and B&G autopilot. This is your power button to turn it on. We already turned it on because it takes a couple of seconds before you can get to this page where it says accept. So it's a touch screen, so you accept. Also you can pinch it out a little bit here. It will show exactly where your boat is. It's in the harbor here. If you bring it in, you will see the other island around Tortola. Now, to use the autopilot, you can use it from the side here. As you see, it shows standby and the compass heading. If I move my wheel around, it will show you a rudder indicator. If you look there, the rudder indicator is moving around. To use an autopilot, it's very straightforward. You point your boat straight to where you're going and hit auto over here. Now it will lock it into the position of the compass heading. You can do a -10, or you can +10. Also you can fine tune by +1, 2, 3, or -1, 2. It says it's software update, so we don't need it now. You can exit that out of the way. We go back to standby, so we can steer manually. So that's your autopilot and your chart plotter. you have another display over to the right hand side with the depth and speed. Here I can just get this page way back so it's out. Also a show and fine print at the top here, the depth, where you have a bigger page, different screen over on the other side, which we're going to go to. So you'll see the depth. Now whatever depth they show, you're going to add 2 feet to it, and that's your true depth. Right now it's showing you 13.9 feet, or you'll get a better readout once we move to the starboard wheel. Let's go. Okay, here is the multifunction display, which will show you the depth and the speed together here. So this is showing you 14 feet, 13.9, same as on the other one on the chart plotter. Again, whatever depth they show you, add 2 feet to it, and that's your true depth, because your transducer is 2 feet below the waterline. You can find different pages here by press the page button. It will show you apparent wind, true wind speed. It will show you the tide, depth. Also you have a page here, we're going to show you your position of your vessel. Autopilot, if you have it on standby over here and I move the wheel around, you can see the rudder indicator to the bottom. So I'm going to put it back to the page that you really need to see is the depth and speed. That's your multifunction display.
Operating the swim platform.
Here we want to show you how to get your swim platform done. The swim platform have an assisted line with it. Also you have 2 latches to the end. You have one on port and one on starboard. So I'm just going to open up the latch for the swim ladder so that it can go down. I'm going to keep holding on this line here, the assist line. By pulling this latch out, give it a little push, hold on the line, and you let it down slowly. It goes down. To bring it up, it's very easy. Just pull on the assist line back up, and it will come up. And it will lock in place. Easy as that. But I'm just going to let it down back one more time because I want to show you what's under these locker here. So again, I pull the latch, give it a little push. And it's done. Okay, so here I go swimming. Under this one here, you can store your snorkel stuff. Locker here for snorkeling or any other stuff. Over in this one here, you have an emergency tiller rudder handle in here, which you have access to your emergency tiller handle in here. You have 2 of them. Over here, there's more storage. You have a manual belt swamp handle under here. The manual belt swamp is here, and the handle for it is this. Also, to the side here, you have a cockpit shower, and you have an on and off valve here, with a mixture which you'll get hot and cold. Again, you'll get hot water when your engine is running. Fresh water pump on. Okay, here is your cockpit locker on your starboard side, aft. What you have in here, you have a secondary anchor with 50 feet of chain and 150 feet of rope on it. You have some extra fenders in here, extra line, life jacket, dinghy pump, boat hook, extra propane tank, and oil and coolant for your engine. Also, you can store whatever you want to store in here. Also, you have your shore power breakers in here. So if your boat is plugged into shore power and no power is coming on the panel, like your AC panel or air condition is not working, you mean the breakers here, there's a breaker box here, can be a breaker trip in here. you just need to know where it is. You have the shore power breaker on the starboard side in the aft blocker, and you have another the AC outlet breaker from your inverter on the port side. So in here where everything is. So if you have no AC power inside the boat, it's here where you're going to come and have a look and see if any one of the breakers trip. Again, you can store whatever you want to store in here. Extra lines that you have, your dock lines and fenders, you can put them in here. Here.
Electric windlass.
You have here, you have a windlass. Manual handle for the windlass. Snubber. Yellow mark on it, it's marked at every 25 feet. Now, whenever you're using the windlass, the engine must be running. Right now I have the engine running. If I press down, it goes down. I press up, it comes up. Now whenever you're anchoring, you should at least be in 20 feet of water, then you drop your anchor. You can do a 5-to-1 scoop. In this case, the float yellow mark that comes up is 100 feet, so that's a 5-to-1 scoop for you. You drop your anchor, overnight anchorage, secure yourself, use the snubber. Hook the snubber line on in one of the chain link, let it out, let it out, let it out, till you get to the bitter end of this line, and then you clean it off onto the cleat. So this will work like a shock absorber for you. If you don't put it on, what's going to happen to you, all night you'll be giving this, and it'll wake you up for no reason. Doesn't matter how much painkiller you drink. Whenever you're bringing your chain up, if you can put your boat slowly and forward, so the windlass is just picking the slack up of the chain. I'm just going to put these back here. I'm going to drop this in here and then hook the snubber onto here and keep it. There's a little safety here. Make sure you use the safety, because if you don't use it, this will fall on your finger or your toe. Now the mooring buoy. The mooring buoy that you're going to pick up, we're going to have 2 lines on board with some yellow marking on it. So these are going to be your mooring buoy line, because sometimes the dock line would have freighted on them, so they're not safe enough for overnight mooring. So what we're going to do is, before we approach a mooring buoy, we're going to take one of this eye, drop it in here, and walk it around all the way around. I'll have the bitter end in my hand, pick the mooring buoy up. Once the mooring buoy on the bitter end of the mooring buoy line have an eye splice in, you pass this through it like a needle and thread, and then you bring it and clean it off here. Make a complete wrap and then lock it off. In that way, you will make a bridle. But the way how you want to spend your night is a line from the cleat to the buoy and back here, and another one from this cleat to the buoy and back. So you have 2 independent lines. And breaking you have another line as a backup. So that's how you spend the mooring buoy overnight on the mooring. Head sail.
Using your head sail.
There is your head sail. Get it up, in and out. Point your boat straight into the wind. Release the drum roller for the line. Bring it in, you do the opposite. Whenever you're releasing your drum roller for the line, don't release it completely. Keep a slight tension on it, so it rolls it through.
Operating the mainsail.
Okay, here is your mainsail. To get your mainsail up and down, it's very straightforward also. You point your boat straight into the wind and pull on your main halyard, and your mainsail will go up. You bring it in, you release the main halyard, and sail come down. So the line that you have for your mainsail is an out-haul line that pulls your sail backward. It's already back, so you don't need to mess with the out-haul. The vang is pretty much set. This is your main sheet to move your boom around. Also, you have two reef lines on board. You have a first and a second reef. The reefing system on this boat is a single reef system. So if you pull on the first reef, it will pull the front and the back down together. So you got a first reef and a second reef. You have a tapping lift. You don't have to mess with the tapping lift. The boom is already up. Also, this line that you see here, this is the Genoa halyard. Genoa is already up, so you don't need to mess with that either. So the only line you really need to play with on this boat on a nice day like today is the main halyard and your main sheet. That's the only two lines. If the wind is really heavy, well then you have to wait. That's it for the main sheet.
Rigging and winches.
Okay, here you have all the jammers on deck, so it's very easy. One person can sail this boat very easily. Here you have your main halyard. Okay, main halyard to pull your mainsail up. You have your first reef and your second reef and the out-haul. These two here that you have, the black one is the boom vang and your main sheet. They're going to be labeled before you get the boat. Now you want to know how to use the winch. It's a self-tailor winch, so the more wraps you give it will be better for you. This is how you have it, because the strength of the winch is in the middle. Once you pull it in, make sure the jammer is closed. To release the jammer all the way back. Take it off. As you can see, it's already want to go through. Close it. And you pull on it and it will come back again. So these are all the lines that you need to play with on this boat here. So again, boom vang, main sheet, out haul, second reef, first reef, and main halyards. Okay guys, my name is Anthony. You're gonna have my telephone number during the trip. So if you have any question or any problem with the boat, you could call me on 541-0336. It's only for business.
Thank you so much for watching. Anthony will be available when you get here to answer any further questions that you have. And if you have any questions while you're out on the water, he is available for you 24 hours a day in case of emergency. And his number again is 1-284-541-0336. Have a great trip.